What's up, the world? It's your boy Tommy Mab, and I just came to speak on the Kevin Durant, LeBron James situation with the two parts. The first part being Kevin Durant believing that, Kevin Durant and Draymond Green's little sit-down interview, and then beyond that, I want to talk about LeBron James and Kevin Durant, how zero people voted for LeBron James to be the top player in the league, and how I think it's a joke that Giannis is even in the conversation. Okay, first and foremost, let's talk about the Kevin Durant, Draymond Green situation. Let's first state that interview was just a humongous waste of time. I went to the comment section and all these people were talking about, oh, this is a good interview. I listened to that interview and I learned nothing I didn't already know. And majority of it was just them shifting blame to other people. Neither one of them confronted each other about any real issues they had, nor did they explain with any type of rationale why they made the decisions they made. They just basically PC'd and said a bunch of stuff that anybody outside them that room needed more clarification, in which they didn't give clarification for. So at the end of the day, you ended up just being like, what the hell is the point of this discussion again? I don't get what you're saying. You get what I'm saying? I don't get what your end game is in this situation. Are you trying to say that you're that you should that you guys should have talked about this? But Draymond Green just stated that he doesn't feel like he owed you any damn thing, and that he shouldn't have had to say anything because, in his opinion, you guys didn't need to do this or didn't need to do that. So, to me, I think it just comes down in the end to whether or not people think that this interview had any substance. And I'm blown away with how people are acting like this was such a great interview. Draymond Green should have his own show. Clearly, those are just, like I said, dickheaded Jordan fans, a mix of Jordan fans, because they anywhere a person in opposition of LeBron is. Like I said, they're not fans of other players. They're anti-fans of LeBron. So if you are in the conversation for anything and you're in opposition of LeBron, all of a sudden you become their favorite player. Like I said, Kyrie Irving doesn't have fans. He just has people who are happy he left LeBron. Kevin Durant doesn't have fans. He has people who are happy that someone in LeBron's generation did something cowardly that took 3 titles away from him. Okay, so none of this shit. When you hear them talking about Kevin Durant, is love for Kevin Durant. Most of it is just deflecting. So that being said, we get into the actual meat of the discussion. That's Kevin Durant. I think Kevin Durant has a humongous flaw in the way that he sees life, if that makes any sense to people. Kevin Durant seems like he just doesn't understand that in life, you have to confront people. He seems, I hate to say it because I know from my channel as of late, people would think I dislike Kevin Durant, but I do not dislike Kevin Durant. I don't have a problem with Kevin Durant. I think Kevin Durant genuinely is a nice guy. I think he's genuinely a good dude. I don't think Kevin Durant has ill will for anybody. I don't think he hates anybody. I don't think he does anything outside of he's sneaky. You know what I'm saying? Kevin Durant is like that dude that will talk about you behind your back and smile in your face. He's a non-confrontational jerk. And to me, that's sneaky. So he's not a jerk to people, to random people. He's a jerk to people that he sees as a threat and or people that he think have ill will set out for him. So at the end of the day, that's what my point is. I think that Kevin Durant needs to grow up, so that he's not making these decisions that affect other people, but yet he's trying to make it like he's made this decision because he wanted to do it, when it really most of the time just influence of others that change his mind. And I say that to say this, right? Kevin Durant in my opinion, is an insecure person. Right? He strikes me as a person who's good in basketball, but he's never really been tough. You know what I mean? He just seems like a mama's boy. He probably was always protected and watched out, or most of the time he was probably more scary than he was, brave. Not that that's a bad thing. A lot of people are it's the product of growing up in the ghetto. I mean, because you can say the wrong thing to the wrong person, and you end up dead. So a lot of people aren't scary. They just have insecurities that cause them to avoid confrontation. And most of the time, you find that with people who avoid confrontation, they usually have some type of trauma in their past that makes them hate confrontation with a thing. The only thing I don't like about Kevin Durant is that he seems to try to project like he's confident and he's not insecure. But if you really pay attention to him, he's one of the most insecure people you're ever going to come across. And it's obvious. It's the same thing with Michael Jordan. Like, Michael Jordan tries to come off like he's confident, but most of the time he comes off as extremely insecure. Like, he's always worried about what people think about him. He's always worried about how to change what people think about him, so that he can get to some mindset in which he's the best and good at everything. And Kevin Durant, his hair's falling out. Because in my opinion, I feel like Kevin Durant is extremely insecure and he wants to be liked. And it does bother him that he's not liked. Especially, he's not beloved like a LeBron or a Jordan. He's just he's like a niche guy. Like you wouldn't even make the argument he's more beloved than a guy like Steph Curry. KD is a great player who in a lot of ways is just underappreciated. And I hate that because I love him so much. I love Kevin Durant's game. I love the way he plays the game. I love the way he's not selfish. He puts his teammates above himself. He finds his groove because he knows he can. He's a very smart player. Is he as smart as LeBron? No, but I would say probably top 2 or 3 smart guys in the game is probably Kevin Durant. Because people always think because I'm saying that a Kawhi or a Kevin Durant or Kyrie is not as smart as LeBron, that somehow it means they're dumb. They're not dumb. They're just not on LeBron's level when it comes to at real time with the memory he has and the understanding of defense. One of the most important things you have as an athlete is understanding tendencies of others. And when you have the mindset where your memory remembers people's tendencies just by seeing them, as a person who has that type of photographic memory, most stuff I'll come across one time and I'll remember it for the rest of my life because that's how my brain is. It's like a steel trap. Once I read something, it just goes in there and I can just reach back and grab it anytime I feel like it. The problem with a guy like LeBron is he has that type of memory. If you do something like that, if he learns something, it's there. And then the minute he wants to remember it, he can just grab it. And not everybody can do that. LeBron James can, and one of the reasons why and that's one of the things that makes him so much better than everybody else. Kevin Durant is also very good. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what type of memory Kevin Durant has, but I'm pretty sure with the same study and a tape that other people do, Kevin Durant is one of the most hard to guard people because Kevin Durant remembers how people guard him. You can watch it in his game. Kevin Durant will come out and play one way, and then he realizes what defense is doing, and then midway through the game, Kevin Durant will completely change the way he plays the game. Kevin Durant is a very smart player. He's a very good player. He's a very smart guy in general. And yes, a lot of that is mentorship, a little bit of mentorship from LeBron early on in his career. I'm not going to give LeBron full credit for his intelligence. I'm going to say Kevin Durant is good at picking people's brain that he thinks helps him out, and he probably did get a couple helpful stuff from LeBron, especially when it comes to business and how he goes about his career. That being said, Kevin Durant was a guy who was 7 foot, and he kind of stated and hit on this in his video. I mean, in the interview, where he stated that growing up, he didn't really know how to dribble. And that was enlightening to me because it really let me see where a lot of his insecurities come from. See, when you're somebody like LeBron James, who's been athletically gifted, or Russell Westbrook, who's been athletically gifted since you were like little, You've always been one of the fastest. You've always been one of the strongest. You've always been a star player. Because speed and agility like LeBron and Westbrook have, they don't come in the end, right? But you look at a guy like Steph Curry or Kyrie Irving. They're gonna be way less secure in their. I would love the word I would like to use is masculinity, because to be athletic is seen to be more masculine. You know what I'm saying? Top dog, alpha dog. The reason why LeBron seems to be completely different than Jordan was because people don't realize Jordan grew up short, right? Jordan grew up not 6'6". He hit a growth spurt between his and nobody in his family was tall. Jordan was like the only person in his family that was over 5'8" or 5'9" from what I understand. So Jordan was always short. So Jordan grew up with this inferiority complex, and he was black and he lived around mostly white people. So he was short, and he felt undesired. And he felt less than. So Jordan grew up with a lot of insecurity that led him being extremely insecure. Right? LeBron did not grow up with those insecurities. LeBron James has always been the top athlete on his team. Everybody's always known who he was, whether it was football, basketball, whatever you want to grab him on. LeBron James has always been seen as that type of player. Same thing with Russell Westbrook and a guy like Allen Iverson. They walk around like I don't give a F when anybody thinks because I've always had my ass kissed. Allen Iverson LeBron James act closer to Allen Iverson than he did to Jordan. Because him and Allen Iverson had a lot of things in common. They both grew up extremely talented, were extremely good at sports, and they probably were put on a pedestal from the time they were kids. So they grew up with a big head. So they always treated other people like they weren't on their level. You know what I'm saying? Because they just always been so immensely talented. A guy like a Kevin Durant who grew up 7 foot, lanky, tall, skinny, you know what I'm saying? Not really on the level of that type of athlete, because if he played football, he probably was extremely slow. Not slow as in slow running, but slow as in he's a strider. You can watch when he plays. When you're a strider like that, and you're playing people who are shorter than you, it's easy to get inside your body. So if you're playing wide receiver, it's extremely hard to be that tall play wide receiver, because people can get inside you real quick and you can't go anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Now you can go leap over people and go catch it, but you got to outrun them first. And if I got a safety over top and you run it, all I got if I'm playing cornerback, all I got to do is let you drift, let my safety go, or let the safety, which in Pop Warner or Little League or even playing a lot, there's always a safety over top. So it doesn't matter that you can high point the ball if I get the ball before it gets to you. And if you're that big and lanky, the point I'm trying to make is that Kevin Durant probably was not great at sports until he got tall, till he got older. So he probably grew up with a lot of insecurities, and he probably grew up as more soft-spoken than a LeBron or Westbrook. People try to say he grew up without his dad, but Kevin Durant did not grow up without his dad. His dad just isn't like his mom. His dad is not always out. His dad and him have a relationship. As far as I know, they've always had a relationship. They're just not. He just never lived with his dad. His dad's a police officer. So I don't know how much of an influence, but from what I heard, he has had an influence in Kevin Durant's life. So the whole narrative that Kevin Durant is different in that way, he's not. So yeah, Kevin Durant is very insecure. So expecting to get the same type of honesty and confidence in your responses that Kevin Durant is gonna give you, you got to be way more open-minded than that. I mean, you got to be more patient with him, because Kevin Durant is not a confident dude. So I mean, and that interview was like an exercise in just cringe, right? It was the whole situation. I feel like Draymond Green was being incredibly disrespectful to Kevin Durant. To sit up there and say you called me a bitch and told me that we could have won a title with or without me, and to sit up there and tell me that you told him you wouldn't apologize to me and we supposed to have some type of reconciliation based on that shit. No, that's bullshit. Like, no, you were dead ass wrong for saying that to Kevin Durant. First and foremost, y'all would not have won that title without Kevin Durant. Y'all wouldn't have won shit without Kevin Durant. Except for a shitty title 2 years earlier in which Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love didn't play. Now, it's possible they could have won, but you obviously didn't think so, or you wouldn't have invited Kevin Durant to come to your team. So I feel like Draymond Green is a moron, but even having an interview, because it seems to me like the interview was completely self-serving for only Draymond Green. It didn't come out making Kevin Durant look better. It came out making Draymond Green look better. Kevin Durant came out looking worse. First of all, he stated that, you know, he's not telling anybody how to live. He's not talking about politics, which in my opinion is like, dude, that don't make you look better. You use your platform to talk about stupid shit that don't have nothing to do with nothing, but you don't. I'm not gonna use it to talk about something that may be important or help other people. And that shit kind of comes off as Joy Nash to me. Like, oh, I'll talk about stupid shit in which it directly affects how people see me. But I ain't got time to be talking about politics and all this other shit. In my opinion, that's foul. You get what I'm saying? It's foul because you come off as selfish in that way. And to me, now to the white people, yeah, he looks better because they are the ones who are mostly affected by people talking about racism. They're not the most people affected by racism. So they're going to like the fact that he said he doesn't talk about politics. And the truth of the matter is, I'm not even a super, I don't really want that much politics in mind. But if a person chooses to use their platform to speak on issues that are very detrimental to a group of people, like that guy Shohei Ohtani is a bitch. To come out there after that man basically mockingly said spoken an Asian stereotype that these Asian people been trying to avoid for hundreds of years with the mito, he basically pissed in your mouth. And that's what tripped me out. Why do they always have to bring race and everything? No, y'all always bringing race and everything. Nobody would even pay attention to that this guy's Chinese if you hadn't said that shit. Now you come on, say some dumb shit, and then he come out because let's be honest, he didn't say that because he believed that. He said that because he's in a locker room full of rednecks who are telling him everybody is too sensitive. That's why he said that. So of course he's gonna come out and say it's no big deal, because if he says anything else, now if that was a black player, they would have damn sure not said nothing, because black people don't give a shit. They're like, well, I don't care if everybody in this place hate me. I was racist as hell. Asian people are more susceptible to that. Out of all the races, they're way more likely to leave to go out for self and put themselves over their race, and they do that all the time. And when you talk about the racism in the Asian community and why they're saying, well, people need to stand up, what they first need to address is their own people. Their own people are the reason why people get away with saying racist shit to Asian people, because they never say anything. They just let the shit go on, and then and a lot of them are, and that's not the bag on Asian people. A lot of them are small. You know what I'm saying? They're not big guys, 90% of them, and they're not going out and fighting people, guys, because most white guys are bigger than Asian guys, and stronger than Asian guys. They're smaller guys. So I'm not trying to it's very easy for me to say black people gonna talk shit, because a lot of black guys are bigger than white guys. So yes, it's a completely different dynamic, because I can physically be able to stand up for what I believe. If somebody tries to come at me, I can physically stand up for what I believe. An Asian person, not so much, because he might get his ass kicked because he's shorter and smaller than a lot of the guys he's calling out. So, and they're not going to be afraid to confront him. They're not going to be afraid to attack him because he's small. So I understand that it's more of a survival thing. Like, in order for them to survive, they have to just let certain shit go, because if they don't let that shit go, they could get their ass kicked. So I try to be understanding of that. But that was some bitch shit. You know what I'm saying? That guy pissed in your mouth. He basically did that ding, 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 ding. Like, what the hell does that have to do with him as a baseball player? And why did you say it like that? Why do you have to make a mockery of this dude just because he's Chinese? They got shit to do with this guy at all. Half of the Asian Americans I don't even know if he's Asian American. I think he's just straight out of Asia, and he doesn't really speak English well. But say be better careful. You're mocking them. You're not saying that to big up the Asian community. You're not saying that in jest. You're saying that to stigmatize him and to put him in a box of a dumb Chinese immigrant. And to me, I feel like that to me just is retarded. There's no need to do that. Treat the man like he's a man, like he's any other player. Because if there was another white player, then you wouldn't have done no shit like that. But they gotta show you your place every time. Because eating them up, that little Asian dude is tearing up the MLB for so damn long. Because they push it. Black people don't even try to do that shit. And I've seen that a million times. I'm never put my kid in no baseball. Not with them racist ass people. Like 90% of the people who play baseball are rednecks. That's their only real way to actually get out of their bad situations a lot of times. So they take it extremely serious. And I'm not putting my kid, subjecting my kid out there to play with those people. I'm just not. I'm not taking my kid out there so I have to end up fucking somebody up because they said the wrong thing. Because they mad that my son's better than theirs. And that's and I'd rather them play basketball, football, soccer, any other thing but baseball. I would never subject my child to no baseball. That's like a catastrophe waiting to happen. At some point, every time you step on the field, you the only black person out. Only one. Every time you go to one of these baseball camps, it's like one black person and 29 white people. And they get very liberal with the shit they say when it's like that. So that's the first thing I want to get into. Like, speaking of like, you know what I'm saying, when you got people who don't stand up like that Shohei Ohtani dude, it's a level of bitch to you that me as a human being, I can't understand that. That's a level of bitch that I don't get. Like this dude just pissed in your mouth and you turned around and tried to be respectful to a dude that had no respect for you. And he didn't even do it in the right way. He like, I didn't really think that was that big of a deal. Well, you should have. So all you're doing is the people who rightfully are mad about him, you're basically turning on them, trying to say like they're acting like crybabies, when the truth of the matter is they're not acting like crybabies. If somebody comes out and disrespects me, I expect them to understand they disrespected me. And to stigmatize and make a stereotypical joke that makes you laugh at the expense of other people is not something that I'm going to look around later on and be like, it's not that big of a deal. That's what they do because they're scary. He doesn't want any static in the locker room, so he's going to be like, it's not that big of a deal. You know damn well that's a big deal. Is it world shattering? No, it's not world shattering, but it's definitely something that you got to address. And so that's how Kevin Durant came off to me in that interview. Like, I don't talk about politics. You guys shouldn't hate me. Well, if somebody hates you because you talk about politics, that's their own damn problem. Because you should be able to speak about whatever the hell you want to speak about, and nobody should not dislike you because your politics are different than theirs. So what you said to me came off as some bitch shit. That was like worse than freaking Jay Crowder when he tried to holler at the girl and wrote on the thing, "I'm sorry, I'm black." Niggas have no respect for themselves these days, especially these rich guys. But beyond that, you go deeper into it and you kind of see the freaking the difference in the way that Draymond Green used Kevin Durant because he was widely being criticized for the way that he handled that situation. And all the blame is going to him. So he fanned it out, let Kevin Durant take a lot of the blame, and basically in his interview, Kevin Durant came out looking like the jackass. I don't think Kevin Durant came out looking good at the end of his interview. And it's because Kevin Durant is not a confrontational dude, and Draymond Green knew that. So when he sat him down, he started asking him a bunch of shit that's confrontational, and then try to put his own spin on stuff. See, I wasn't the reason why you left. He tried to slide in at the Kevin Durant was like, nah, I wasn't really decided on that yet. He tried to be like, oh, he kept trying to put words in the Kevin Durant mouth. And respect to KD kept stopping him like, no, that's not true. Like, because Kevin Durant, he knew there were certain things that Kevin Durant agreed with him on. But Kevin Durant is not a confrontational dude. So if you start talking Kevin Durant most of the time, he's not confrontational. He just doesn't give a shit, right? So Draymond Green basically made this Untitled interview to make himself look good, and Kevin Durant kind of just went along with it because he really didn't care. So he was just like, yeah. I mean, it wasn't really that. It was more so this. But he tried first. This is the points Draymond Green tried to get out in that interview. First and foremost, he tried to get out that Kevin Durant was the reason. Kevin Durant was about to leave at the beginning of the year when Kevin Durant said no, he was not. He had not made up his mind that he was going to leave. He said he was just debating what he was going to do. Then he tried to act like he and Kevin Durant tried to fix the situation, and Bob Myers and whatchamacallit were making a bigger deal. Was going to make it a bigger deal. No, what you wanted to do was for everybody to. He wanted them to act as if he wanted them to be like in a mindset where they acted like what he did didn't happen. Right? Oh, it didn't happen. They should have just acted like it didn't happen and didn't make a big deal about it, because now by them making a big deal about it, they just gonna mess everything up. Like, no, moron. All you gotta do is apologize. You said something incredibly disrespectful to somebody. You should apologize, and Kevin Durant is right. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, they all should have called Draymond Green out on that shit. Like, bro, you can't be saying shit like that. Only one that called him out was Andre Iguodala. Everybody else, yes, he's right. They were loyal to Draymond Green, not to Kevin Durant. And Kevin Durant saw that, because if they were loyal to Kevin Durant, they would have called Draymond Green out. Now, Klay tried to be the peacemaker, but you gotta realize Klay and Steph are just like Kevin Durant. They're not confrontational. They're not hood cats, right? They're not dudes that's gonna be like, that's gonna step up and say some shit like that. That's not in their DNA. They come from rich suburban neighborhoods in which they go along to get along. They're not gonna do that. So they may have thought that Draymond Green was dead ass wrong for what he said, but they're not gonna say that to Draymond Green, because they know Draymond Green is from the hood. If they say the wrong shit to Draymond Green is gonna take the shit to the next level. And he's going to be confrontational back. If he has a problem with something they say, Draymond Green is going to say it. So Steph Curry is not going to step out there on that ledge, so he can make the problem he has with Steph Curry become a big problem. Because Steph Curry not only has to deal with Draymond Green in the locker room, he's going to have to deal with Draymond Green outside the locker room. Because Draymond Green has a loud voice, and the minute that he feel like the team is attacking him and they decide to trade him or whatever they decide to do, Draymond Green is not going to keep his mouth shut. He's going to speak about everything, because that's what Draymond Green does. He has a lot of problems that people in the hood have, which is they don't know when to shut up. And they think they mask insecurity as masculinity. And it's not the same thing. There's a difference between being masculine and being insecure. Yes, you want to handle things like a man. That means you stand up and you stand 10 toes down and you stand by what you say. That's completely different than being insecure to realize when you're wrong. And Draymond Green, you can see it throughout that interview. He was manipulative. He was trying to get Kevin Durant to say shit that Kevin Durant clearly didn't feel comfortable saying. He was trying to paint Kevin Durant into a corner, and I didn't like that. And I hated the way he did that. He was telling Kevin Durant what to say. And once again, to Kevin Durant's credit, he never bid on that shit. Kevin Durant would not let him tell him what to say. Kevin Durant kept saying, no, I would say this. I wouldn't say that. And he kept saying stuff like that, because that's who Draymond Green is. He's a manipulator. And he tried to manipulate, and he did, for the most part, manipulate Kevin Durant. Because Draymond Green spent a situation in which he acted like a child who threw a temper tantrum, was dead ass wrong for what he said, calling the man a B word. He didn't say he was a B. He said you a B and you always been a B. So I don't know how Kevin Durant got more respect than, is more chill than I would have, because that would have been me. I'm like, bro, you can't, you called me a B and told me I would always been a B. That makes you seem fake as hell. Because you sitting out here cheesing with me, and the whole time you thinking I'm a bitch from the get-go. Why you around a bitch? Like, why are you around, why are you acting like me and you cool, and you come and say that about me? And nobody stands up to say, damn, you were wrong for saying that about that man? But no, Bob Myers, and they keep saying that Kevin Durant called out Bob Myers and Steve Kerr. I think he said something to Steve Kerr about Steve Kerr, because Steve Kerr could have spoken up on Kevin Durant's behalf and say, Draymond Green, you can't do that shit, right? You might be mad, I understand you're emotional, but you cannot do, he like he said, you shouldn't have did it behind closed doors. He should have chastised him in front of the whole team. But once again, Steve Kerr is not cut from that cloth. He knows if he gets, he knows Steve Kerr will say what he want to say. Steve Kerr is not somebody that bites his tongue, but he knows Draymond Green isn't either. And he knows if he says something to Draymond Green, it's going to blow up in front of the entire team. And it's going to get worse. So he tried, so in his respect, he know that some of the stuff he was going to probably have to say to Draymond Green, he couldn't say it in front of the whole team. And if he called Draymond Green out in front of the whole team, he would have to say those things in front of the whole team. So he tried to be respectful to Draymond Green, which Kevin Durant is right. You shouldn't have tried to be respectful to him. You should have been respectful to me, because he said the shit out. He said that in front of the whole team. All these people around here watching this man disrespect me. And he never apologized for it. He never took ownership for saying he in his mind, he feels to this day, Draymond Green still has not stated what he did was wrong. And to me, that I don't understand or fathom the mindset behind somebody who can talk like that, and then he's chilling next to a nigga and never admit that what he said was wrong. Not at least what he was just saying he was out and out wrong. He just kept explaining why he said it without actually harping on the apology. To me, that's not a friend. And if I'm Kevin Durant, he need to pay attention to his clique, right? I think the only true nigga around him is James Harden. I don't think Kyrie is his friend. I think Kyrie is another manipulator who in my opinion, Kevin Durant is incredibly naive and easy to take advantage in some instances. I wouldn't say in all, but when it comes to his friends or people that he trusts, I think Kevin Durant most times will choose peace over war, and he'll try to be accommodating to people, even at the expense of his own even at the expense of his own pride at times. And I think sometimes you need to be more prideful. And I think, especially, he's like, oh, we talk about Kyrie. Well, Kyrie should have been called out. Either you all in or you're not. To me, Kyrie Irving was not all in. And guess what ended up happening? He ended up getting injured in the playoffs anyways. So he was not taking no junk off that better help y'all team. It was all about him, and every time he did that, it was about him. And that's all fine. You have your life, and you have your mindset to do whatever you want to do. But if you can't trust somebody, you can't trust them. You could not count on Kyrie Irving, no matter what way you want to cut it. You could not count on him. And the truth of the matter is, no team who has ever had Kyrie Irving has been able to count on him. The Cavaliers' first championship time, he got hurt. Then he came back the second year. They won a title. Well, I'm talking about with LeBron. And then the third year, he got injured most of that year. And then came back towards the end of that year and had lost one game and had a freak out and threatened to sit out the season. Then he left. Went to Boston. Told them he was going to stay with them. Guess what happened the first year there? He got injured, was out all those playoffs. They did good without him. He came back the next year, got hurt, was hurt majority of that season, got into the playoffs, played terribly, did not like the fact they called him out because he played terribly, then threatened, and then all of a sudden his mindset changed. Told him he was going to, because at the beginning he told him he was going to stay with them for throwing through. Then a year later, because he played bad in a playoff game and they called him out for it, all of a sudden it's everybody else's fault. Then he played the third year, was injured most of that year, and then went to Brooklyn. Got hurt majority of that year. Couldn't play in the playoffs for them his first year there. Even though he was healthy. But didn't want to do it because he decided to get surgery in the middle of the year. Came back the next year, which is this year. Was hurt and could have played and just decided not to in multiple games. Then came back in the playoffs. Decided for some strange reason I can't remember what he did in the playoffs, but I think he played in the playoffs for up to a point, then got hurt again. And in that end. So Kevin Durant, I understand he may be your ace, boom, cool. That dude is not trustworthy. Okay? I can tell you somebody who don't trust him. Blake Griffin, James Harden. Neither one of those guys trust Kyrie Irving. They're not putting, and you don't trust Kyrie Irving either. If somebody told you put your money on Kyrie Irving being here, you look to the side and you see James Harden. If James Harden is healthy, you know James Harden is going to be there. You look to the side, you see Blake Griffin. You know if Blake Griffin is healthy, he going to be there, which is rare. But if he, not as of late, but he has his injury problems too, so maybe not even Blake Griffin. But the people around Kevin Durant, the only really one you can look at and he can actually depend on to be a rider is James Harden. Kyrie Irving ain't no damn rider. This man get a freaking splinter and out for 3 months. So you can't. Kevin Durant is lying if he say he trusts Kyrie Irving. Talking about I don't think people have a problem with. I think they have a problem with the way that Kyrie Irving left. Yeah. Ultimately, they do have a problem with why he left. That's one of the biggest reasons why they think he's an asshole and that he's untrustworthy and is a terrible teammate and or a terrible person. I'm not a person. I don't know him personally, but. As a basketball player and a fan of half the teams he's been in, they've always been bad situations. He hasn't done good by the team. If you want to talk about any player that has screwed over their fan base more, it is Kyrie Irving. Even Brooklyn, he screwed over the fan base. Just decide not to play because he just don't feel like it, and then showing up in town hall meetings. He screws over his own fan base. And so yeah, Kevin Durant, people do have a problem with the way that Kyrie Irving, not because he left. It's the way he was when he was there, then he left. And Brooklyn is gonna be the same way because he is not a trustworthy dude, and you don't put no stock in a dude like that. That dude ain't got your back. Kyrie Irving, the minute y'all start losing, he nowhere to be found. The minute y'all start winning, he the spokesman for the team. How the hell that work? You can say whatever you want about KD, but KD the same way at the beginning of when they winning and when they losing. You don't see Kevin Durant running from the media. You don't see Kevin Durant running from gang criticism. Not a damn thing. Kevin Durant stands 10 throws down. And that's why I got respect for Kevin Durant, because Kevin Durant don't do that. He takes blame when they lose. He takes ownership, and rightfully so, he gets blame. He gets credit when they win. Kyrie Irving, on the other hand, hides from blame and then tries to hog credit, trying to act like he a leader when they start winning. They go on a 20-game winning streak, or 10-game winning streak. Then all of a sudden he's standing. He gotta be the spokesman for the team. The minute they go into a dip and start losing, he missing games for no reason, not showing up to press conferences. Come on, you can't work like that. It don't work like that, bro. You can't come out here and be a part of the big three when we losing, scary hours when we winning, and then when we losing, it's on Kyrie, it's on Kevin Durant and James Harden to answer the hard question. That's the dude you want in your foxhole? Dude who can't be trusted to even be there to begin with. And even when he's there only when things are good. I'm sorry. Kyrie Irving is not somebody I want to depend on. So him defending Kyrie Irving in that interview, I didn't really understand. Because I would have rather just him not bring him up altogether. So nothing in that interview made Kevin Durant look good to me. All of that stuff made Kevin Durant look bad. It gave Draymond Green an excuse that nobody bought. In the interview altogether, you didn't learn nothing new. Outside of the fact that Kevin Durant really wasn't that great of a basketball player and couldn't really dribble and play, and he turned himself. It gave me more admiration for him on the basketball side of things. When I learned that he really wasn't the skilled player, and they tried when he was younger, and that he, as he got in college, they realized he could dribble really well, and that he could play like a guard, so they started to utilize him more as a guard. So those were the things that I really took away from that interview. But as a person, PR-wise, that didn't come out making Kevin Durant look too hot. So, but yeah, I didn't really get a chance to get into the LeBron James situation. Them saying LeBron James is that Kevin Durant is now the top player or some shit. I don't know. I mean, to be honest, none of that means that. I mean, these execs. Why you asking an exec who he would choose is retarded. They picked 10 people and they act like it was 100,000 people. They interviewed 10 people. One of them said that a lot of them picked Giannis. That goes to show you what execs know. To believe Giannis, because he won a championship, is now the best, even in the discussion of best player in the world, is laughable. In the finals, I wouldn't even make the argument he was the best player in the finals, let alone the best player in the world. It's a joke. Giannis is extremely limited. He's long. He can get around people, and there's a lot of great things he does. Easily minimized and contained. Giannis has no room to be in the discussion. Kevin Durant, LeBron, whatever. Kevin Durant right now, you would have to give him the top player right now because LeBron James didn't look great before the year ended. So, the only problem I really have with that is that Giannis is he's not in a discussion. Giannis is not even, to me, a top 3 player in the league. Probably not even top 5 if you really start breaking down his flaws. He's a great player, but I wouldn't put him in the top 5. He's too limited. Dominant wise, yeah, he's one of the top 5 dominant players, but that's because he's in a system that utilizes his strengths and minimizes his weaknesses. But if you took him off that team, he's not the same player. It depends on what team you put him on. Kevin Durant is Kevin Durant on any team. LeBron James is LeBron James on any team. James Harden is James Harden on any team. You know what I'm saying? Russell Westbrook, Luka Doncic, Trae Young, Ja Morant, Zion. They're the same player no matter what team you put them on. Giannis is a great player, but let's be honest. You take him and you put him on a team that doesn't have shooters, and he's very easy to minimize. So to me, you have to take that into account when you're talking about him as an individual player, not him on his team. So Giannis, I don't put in discussion. I can completely see why somebody would say Kevin Durant. I mean, who else can you say? LeBron James couldn't even dunk at the end of last year. He was just laying up because he was so off chemistry wise. He couldn't even, this plays where LeBron James would just hammer it while I saw him laying it up. So if that was the last picture you had of LeBron, I mean, how can you say he's better than Kevin Durant? That you just being disingenuous. I'm not a Jordan fan. I'm not saying shit because I want it to be true. I call it how I see it. LeBron James has not shown himself. Based on last year, his mind is still great, and he can still do a lot of great things. And I have no doubt in my mind that he will get back to where he was before the year ended. I think he will be considered widely by the end of the month probably the best player in basketball. But As for right now, yeah, Kevin Durant, I mean, and to be honest, it's not like Kevin Durant showed so much more, but he just showed more than LeBron, and those two are the discuss. When you're talking about body of work, those two are the only two in the real discussion. So if Kevin Durant outdid LeBron because LeBron was injured, then Kevin Durant is by default the best player in the NBA. And I'm pretty sure Kevin Durant is not fine with being the best NBA player by default. You know what I'm saying? And you'll get to see it on the field. If he's better than Kevin Durant, then LeBron will win. And Kevin Durant's better than him, Kevin Durant will win. They have comparable teams now. I mean, well, hopefully, from what I see, they should have comparable teams. Yes, Kevin Durant has more versatile teammates, but they're also less versatile on defense. They're not good defensive players. LeBron has two guys who are really good defensively and offensively. So I think it kind of fixes each other. And then you bring Melo into the situation in comparison to Blake Griffin. It's not a comparison. I think that as far as their team, that those two teams are very comparable to each other, and I think that'll be a good. You'll get to see you can finally see who the best out of the two. Going forward. But it's gonna be some sucky guy at the middle of the year who's gonna get bought out of his contract and try to find a way to jump on one of the teams and just mess the shit up. That's what happens in basketball all the time. But I hope the team stay the way that they are, and I hope they work out and they both have chemistry. I hope it's not last year where Kyrie Irving is missing every other week and James Harden ends up injured. I think with James Harden and Kevin Durant that they'll be fine. Anyway, please comment. Let me know what y'all think, because I really just don't even get into the discussion of the best in the world when one person is hurt, and the previous discussion is based on limited data about who wasn't hurt. When 90% of the people were hurt last year, it's hard to crown somebody because they won a championship. But regardless, please comment. Let me know what y'all think. Thumbs it up if you like it, and please let me know what y'all think. Thumbs it up, like it, and subscribe. All right, y'all. Peace.